Aloha, beloveds. Thank you so much for tuning in. I pray that this message finds you well. And my name is Athena Rose, and I'm making this message to call for a collective deep breath and sigh today. Whew. Today feels really heavy, really smoky, really cloudy, really fiery down here in Southern Oregon and Ashland, and the skies are filled with smoke from a nearby fire. And in my mind, it feels cloudy and fiery and even angry. I woke up today with a lot of heavy emotions, angry and upsettedness, finding offense with my partner. And I would like to speak to that. I'd like to speak to how that felt for me and how I worked through it, just to hopefully encourage somebody who may be going through a similar situation and how they can come back to their center. Yeah, I woke up feeling offended and anxious, having thoughts about the future, having thoughts about my health, having thoughts about my children, just anxiety coming up, anxiety about the future. And I've been told that when your thoughts are more in the future, thinking about the future, that manifests as anxiety. And when your thoughts are more in the past, that manifests as depression. I'm not feeling the depression per se, although I am having thoughts of the past, but it's more in relation to where I'm going forward, and that's creating anxiety in my mind. And so it's returning to the breath, really returning to the breath, returning to my center, returning to my state of being, returning to the deep knowing that I am in control. I'm the master of my breath. I can take a conscious breath. I am aware of my breath, and that's something that Thich Nhat Hanh really taught me, is returning to the breath through meditative ways of being, through meditative states of relating, either walking or sitting meditation. Yeah, I'd just like to speak to how empowering that was to have the opportunity to practice that today in a real visceral, uncomfortable way, and feeling so much gratitude for that, feeling so much gratitude for the uncomfortability that arose within me this morning as I awoke, and how I worked through that. So I woke and I was feeling offended and feeling rejected by my partner, feeling abandoned, emotionally abandoned. And so I got up, I got in the water, I got in the shower, and just allowed the emotions to flow. I allowed the water to cleanse me. I felt the cleansing, healing properties of the water. I've been praying with the water for a while, and so I was really feeling those water prayers within my being. It's so important to pray with the water and make that a practice, because when you really need it, you can draw upon those water prayers. And I did that today, I feel like. And so I allowed the water to wash over me. I allowed the tears to come. I allowed the grief to come. I allowed that release of energy to come through tears, through the water. And then when I was done, I went outside and I sat in front of the rising sun and prayed with the fire, essentially, and thanked Creator for my life, and thanked Mother Earth for my body, and just came back to that state of gratitude. And then Spirit reminded me that I have a lot of tools to help me recenter and reorganize myself and come back to emotional balance. And so I pulled out my feather box and some sage, and feathered myself off with the owl wing, and prayed with the medicine of me, my internal heart medicine, and grounded myself in the elements. And I highly recommend that. If you have sage, it's always good to sage yourself and feel the cleansing effect of that plant medicine. And when I came back to center, I got some water in me, prayed more with the water, and then I went and spoke to my partner about how I was feeling in a very me-centered way, taking accountability for my emotions and stating how I felt using I statements, and allowed him time to witness me. We sat across from each other on the floor and looked in each other's eyes, and sometimes I had to close my eyes because it was too intense for me to meet his eyes. But I did. I practiced expressing myself. I practiced expressing my emotional state of being. I practiced stating what I was going through, and noticing and witnessing myself in that statement, in that expression, and noticing the parts of me that wanted to judge that, and judge myself in my process. And I just think it's very cathartic and healing to explore these ways with another and have that sacred mirror. It could be a partner, it could be a parent, could be a sibling, could be a friend, to hold space for another and reflect yourself back to yourself. It's that reflective quality of another, and particularly eye gazing is very empowering and very intense. It can be very, very intense, but it can bring a lot of healing and can allow for you to really see more parts of yourself, those blind spots you may not be able to see without that divine reflection of another's eyes meeting yours. And so yeah, I'd just like to encourage more of that as a practice. I'm happy to help guide you through that. If you have any conflict or anything going on in your relations that you need some support in, help navigating, I'd be happy to assist you with that. I offer that as part of my healing practice, and please feel free to reach out and contact me. I'll put my contact information in the description. Yeah, I just want to encourage folks today, things are going to come up. These are fiery times. There's a lot of fire right now. There's a lot of heat. There's a lot of not knowing, not knowing where we're going, what our trajectory is, not knowing how to navigate when fires happen, when conflict happens. But we can use that as an opportunity to really practice and hone our skills and transmute fear into love. That's the practice of this life. That's the practice. That's what's going to save us, is if we learn how to do that. We continue to step up and learn these ways, learn how to transmute fear into love. So I encourage you in that way. Please feel free to leave comments. Please feel free to leave questions. I'm happy to assist you. I'm happy to hear what you have to say. I'm happy to hear your expression. I'm happy to hold space for you. And I can only do that because I do that for myself. I'm taking the time and the effort and the energy and the presence, and I have a strong intention, a strong prayer to be that example. And so, yeah, I hope that this message encourages you in some way, and that you're really feeling supported in your life, and really understanding that you have the power to transmute. You are a transmuting vessel, and you have all the elements within you to do that: the water and the fire and the air and the ether and the soil. Plant those seeds and tend to the garden of yourself. So much love and aloha. Mahalo for tuning in.